What is poppin' YouTube? What is going on? The Catch fam, what is going on? Fellow fantasy people, you already know what time it is, baby. We're hopping right into another mock draft. It is your boy John here with the Catch. So, I am going to go ahead and use NFL Fantasy to conduct this mock draft. I've primarily been drafting through Yahoo, which is my personal favorite place to conduct mock drafts. But I did want to go ahead and do a standard scoring mock draft for those of you out there that do play in standard scoring league. So this should turn out a little bit different overall, and some of the rankings as well as projections are a little bit different on the NFL fantasy website as in comparison to that of the Yahoo fantasy website, obviously. So super excited as always to be here and to run through this mock draft for you guys. If you do find this enjoyable, I ask you very kindly to go ahead and smash that like button, and please consider subscribing for more future content like this, as well as mine and Steven's annual The Catch podcast. And let me know in the comments down below what type of scoring setting you use in your personal fantasy football league. Do you use half PPR, full PPR, standard? Do you play with an IDP defensive player? Do you play in a dynasty league? Let us know in the comments down below. Definitely interested to see. So one of the annoying things that I've been experiencing with the NFL website in terms of conducting mock drafts is if I try to switch between the draft board and players, it like freezes up, and I don't exactly know why it does that. I'm not going to try and do it while I'm about to select a player because it'll definitely mess us up. But I can't, it's kind of difficult to go over who's being selected, with all of that going on. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to scoop up Jonathan Taylor here. Considering that this is a standard scoring format, you do, in my opinion, definitely want to load up at the running back position. Obviously, they are going to be getting in the red zone on a consistent basis, not to take away from a lot of these top receivers and some of these tight ends as well, who we do know have a lot of scoring capability as well. But overall, I definitely want to load up at the running back position, even with Devontae Adams as well as Tyreek Hill on the board. Najee Harris is my next top target, and I have no idea what I just did, but there's a player profile for Najee Harris for you guys too. So I'm going to go ahead and select Najee Harris. Sorry, still getting used to drafting on a different website. It just feels like, for whatever reason, the NFL fantasy mock drafts, everything just moves a little bit slower. Maybe it's something on my end. I'm not exactly sure. I am going to go ahead and make this draft a little bit cut up, not going to evaluate the entire draft, primarily because of me not being able to switch between showing you guys the current draft board, and the current player. So we will see you guys in the third round with whatever selection I go with. Okay, so we are up in two selections, a lot of receivers as well as running backs going very quickly here. I do believe that in the fourth round we will be able to select a relatively good number one receiver. So I'm going to go ahead and roll with the RB heavy strategy. And standard scoring leagues, I definitely, stress the fact that going RB heavy is the right thing to do. And when we look at the receiver board here, still a lot of good receivers left. So I'm pretty confident we can go out and get a guy like a Keenan Allen, like a CeeDee Lamb, like a Mike Evans. Mike Evans is someone who I think in standard scoring leagues is going to have a fantastic year with those 14 touchdowns we saw him put up last season. My next top target probably be Julio Jones or Keenan Allen. So we will see, as both Julio and Keenan Allen are available right now. As good as Julio is, traditionally and historically, he has not been that good overall in the red zone. So we are actually going to go ahead and scoop up that of Keenan. Well, you know what? I'm not going to go with Keenan Allen. I'm going to go with my guy, Mike Evans. He is someone who I've been talking about over and over again in standard scoring leagues as someone that Tom Brady really seems to like in the red zone. And we will go ahead and keep on moving on, and I will see you guys in this next fifth round. Okay, guys, we are up in 3 more selections. Still looking at these receivers and seeing a lot of good receivers, as we just saw Josh Jacobs off the board. Still a lot of good quarterbacks left, and a couple of very good tight ends still here available as well. Kind of interested to see how these tight ends are ranked on this website. Pretty standard overall there. So one thing in standard scoring leagues that you definitely want is a quarterback who's going to put up big numbers. So we're going to go ahead and snag Lamar Jackson. Essentially, in standard scoring leagues, touchdowns are going to make up the bulk of your points, where receptions don't give you nearly as many points. So we definitely want an elite quarterback on this team. So I'm very happy with that selection of Lamar Jackson. And now with this next selection, we are going to be targeting a receiver. I really like Chase Claypool here, but I also really like that of Adam Thielen, someone who had 14 touchdowns last year, very similar to Mike Evans. And I also like Tyler Lockett, who had 10 touchdowns last year. So I will say that Thielen and Lockett are my top targets. No knock on Chase Claypool, but more than likely we can go out and get Juju a little bit later on. And there we see Tyler Lockett selected. So I'm actually going to go out and I am going, although we expect some regression from Adam Thielen this year, I'm going to go out and get him just because we know Kirk Cousins does target him in the red zone. And like I said, we do know there is another Pittsburgh Steelers receiver that we can go out and get. So we will see how this draft keeps on moving on. And I would like to start targeting a tight end as well. All right, so we are sitting here with this selection here in the 7th round, and Chase Claypool is still sitting here, someone who we wanted or at least evaluated with our last selection. So I'm going to go out and get him, as I'm a little bit more confident in his ability than I am in Juju Smith-Schuster's. No knock on Juju whatsoever, and I know I said I wanted to go out and target a tight end, but I think there's a little bit of depth left there at tight end, and I would really like to pick up a Darrell Henderson here, who we are assuming is going to be the #1 back in that Rams offense. And I think he would be a great addition to this roster on our bench. So we will see. Yeah, he does fall to us. So I'm going to go ahead and snag him up. A couple other running backs that I like here as well. One thing that I do want to note, if you are doing a mock draft through the NFL Fantasy website, is that they have Robert Jones very, very lowly ranked. I don't expect him to be available with the 117th overall selection. I don't believe he should be ranked that low whatsoever. You guys know that I'm very confident in Ronald Jones this year. So as we move on to this next round, I will definitely be targeting a tight end, as we have just seen Robert Tonyan and TJ Hawkinson taken in this previous round. Okay, guys, just 3 more selections until we pick. Feeling pretty confident at the running back and receiver position and the quarterback position as well. So it might be worth it just to go out and get a tight end that we really like here, but we will go ahead and see who else is available. And you guys know I'm huge on Jerry Jeudy. I'm going to go ahead and snag him up. I want him on this roster, as I'm pretty confident in that of Mike Evans and Adam Thielen, as well as Chase Claypool. But that depth at the receiver position, we already have very good depth at the running back position, should make us feel a little bit more confident. But now that we are up in 2 more selections, I'm going to go ahead and target Noah Fant here, and then see if Mike Gesicki kind of falls to us a little bit later on to add some more depth to the tight end position. I wish I could be switching back and forth between the draft board. It's driving me crazy. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do a lot of these mock drafts through the NFL website, because I would have to be consistently shouting out to you guys who is being selected. It would probably be more annoying than anything. So Noah Fant selected. We did not get him with that pick like we wanted to. So let's just check these other positions, see who's kind of floating around. Some pretty good receivers here at the top of the board, but let's go ahead and pick Aaron Rodgers and add some depth to the quarterback position. As I stated earlier in this video, you definitely want a quarterback who is going to be throwing a lot of touchdowns, that is going to dramatically help your team throughout the season in a standard scoring format. So I keep saying that I'm going to pick a tight end, and I'm almost positive with this next selection in the 11th round that we will be taking a tight end. Okay, guys, up into selections. Let's go ahead and check that tight end position. Some might consider this a little bit of a reach, but I'm probably just going to go ahead and shore up Mike Gesicki here. You guys know that I'm very confident in his ability as a tight end one. Once again, yeah, this this site drives me a little crazy. So, all right, we went and got our tight end. Feeling pretty good overall about this roster. A lot of depth at a lot of different positions. Let me know in the comments down below at this point what you guys think of this roster overall. I'm pretty happy with it. And also, I would kindly appreciate if you guys go ahead and smash that like button and consider subscribing for more future content like this. So still a lot of depth in my opinion at the tight end position. I would say that Gronk is probably the most valuable next to Jonnu Smith. Remember, this is a standard scoring format, so Evan Ingram in a PPR format I wouldn't mind here, but not someone I'm going to be targeting here in a standard scoring format. Another good example, we've got Antonio Brown here, someone who I'm very big on in terms of a PPR format, but I just don't know if he's going to have as good of production from a standard scoring format. Plus, we have Mike Evans on this squad, so we don't want to eat into his stock on our roster as well. So just kind of going through here, and I'm going to go ahead, this might be a little bit of a reach, but I'm going to go ahead and shore up Ronald Jones, as he is someone that I would love to see on this roster, and we have gone out and gotten him and kind of helped add even more depth to the running back position. All right, up in one pick, up at the very current moment. So let's go ahead and see who's available at the tight end position. I mean, part of me wants to just take a swing on Jalen Hurts here as he's sitting there available. But yeah, let's go ahead and get that of Jonnu Smith, someone who we know put up 8 touchdowns last year. A pretty good tight end to add to this roster. In a standard scoring format, like I've already stated, you want touchdowns. So I would have been happy with Gronk there as well, but pretty happy how this roster has turned out as a whole. So at this point, it's time to go ahead and target a defense, as we see the Pats defense off the board. And I can tell you that the Saints as well as the Buccaneers are probably my top targets here. And then we will just let a kicker fall to us. Let's go ahead and snag the Buccaneers. Okay, guys, so we know that we're going to get one of these several kickers to finish out this roster. And it just dawned on me that I can hit this draft log button and it shows us everyone who's being selected. We don't have to use the draft board. So I'm very sorry. That is good news, though. That means I can conduct a lot more strategies through the NFL Fantasy website. Sorry, NFL Fantasy, for hating on you so hard, but at least I figured it out. I'm very happy that I did so. So at the quarterback position on this squad, we have got not only Lamar Jackson, but also that of Aaron Rodgers. So feeling super confident at the quarterback position. At the RB position, we have Jonathan Taylor, Najee Harris, David Montgomery, Darrell Henderson, as well as Robert Jones on the bench. So I feel super confident as well at the running back position. I do like our receiver group as well, although I would argue it's probably the weakest part of this roster. But we have Mike Evans and Adam Thielen, both who put up 14 touchdowns last year. Both huge red zone targets for their respective quarterbacks, 2 veteran quarterbacks who we know are going to feel safe with those receivers. And outside of that, we have Chase Claypool and Jerry Jeudy to help add some depth to the receiver position. And then we've got 2 tight ends who I'm really big on, and that of Mike Gesicki and Jonnu Smith, 2 players who we know will be targeted in the red zone. Jonnu Smith with 8 touchdowns last year, and Mike Gesicki with 7 touchdowns last year. So feeling very good overall at basically throughout this entire roster. We went out and we got the Buccaneers defense, and now we will go ahead and we could really pick any of these kickers. It truly doesn't matter to me. Let's go give Will Lutz a shout out. We have Will Lutz on this team. So good news is we figured out something about the NFL Fantasy mock draft room today. Plenty more mock drafts to come, as you guys know. Plenty more. Oh, they want my feedback. No, thank you. Plenty more fantasy updates to come, as well as mine and Steven's annual The Catch podcast. Super excited to keep pumping out these videos for you guys. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this draft overall. If you guys like seeing PPR scoring format or standard scoring format, whatever you guys need to see, whatever you guys need me to do, I am here for you guys. Steven and I are both here for you guys to keep pumping out these videos. As always, if you did enjoy this video, please go and smash that like button, as it truly does help us out. And please consider subscribing to the channel as well for more future content like this. And you guys already know what to do. Drop a comment down below as well. I thank you so very much for listening and or watching as always. And remember, you saw it here on The Catch.